Welcome to Lotus on Track, where today we've got a very busy and varied programme with racing from Hockenheim, Oulton Park with Lotus on Track, Elise Trophy and Lotus Cup UK. While they prepare themselves in their garages, we will head over to France for the sole French round of the 2013 Lotus Cup Europe at the legendary Dijon-Prenois circuit, whose fast sweeping turns, dramatic undulations make it a favourite with the drivers and teams alike. In qualifying, it was John Walker who was fastest from Gregory Rass, the circuit really favouring the V6 cars, and Walker in winning form, unbeaten the V6 Cup so far this season. So this is how they line up. John Walker on pole position from Gregory Rass, then Xavier Georges and Philippe Luc, the first of the two 11s on row 2 for Jeremy Lorenko and Nicolaj Ibsen. First of the production runners, Thomas Dahayib, down in 19th place, and it's David Harvey who leads the open class runners in 18th in his 340R. As ever, huge field for the Lotus Cup Europe, very, very well supported, with 28 of them qualifying. Jan Christie completing the pack. A rolling start for the first race of the weekend is Jonathan Walker in the bright yellow. As you can see, is V6 Cup car who took the early advantage away from Gregory Rass as they sprinted en masse towards the first turn. Huge field making a fantastic sight. In the early running, it was Walker from Rass, chased by Xavier Georges. The rest of the pack squabble for position just behind. As the race unfolded, there were battles to be found throughout the pack, enjoying the challenge offered up by the Dijon circuit. But once Gregory Rass was able to move clear of Jonathan Walker, he was able to assume an advantage. He carried all the way through to the flag. Nicholas Walker was running just outside the top 10. Further back, plenty of battling to enjoy. David Harvey in particular having a race-long scrap with Nathalie Jenny-Prache. Jonathan Walker continue to run in very close company with each other, but Walker just couldn't get onto terms with Rass, citing understeer after the race. This is his main problem. Jenny-Prache, Harvey and Nicholas Walker battle continued throughout. Further back, there was a fantastic fight in the production class between Laurent Febvre and Charlotte Burridge, which eventually was decided with Febvre's honour, but it was Gregory Rass who took the flag from Jonathan Walker. Let's have a look then at the final results with the victory for Gregory Rass. John Walker in second, Xavier Georges completing the podium, Jeremy Lorenko and Philippe Luc. The first of the ex-Zizis was Anthony Fournier in 9th. In terms of the class winners then, in the 211s, it was Xavier Georges from Jeremy Lorenko and Philippe Luc. The open class was claimed by David Harvey from Kai Kederholm. Exige Cup honours went to Anthony Fournier from Herbert Metzger and Yves Couraman. In the V6 Cup, it was Gregory Rass from John Walker and Nicolaj Ibsen. Last but certainly not least, it was Thomas Dahayib who claimed production honours from Laurent Febvre and Charlotte Burridge. As the drivers celebrate on the podium at Dijon, we'll be back there a little bit later on for their second race. We head over to Cheshire, Oulton Park, where very wet weather greeted the drivers of the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy for qualifying. Treacherous conditions, and it was Craig Denman who came through to claim pole position. Come race time though, the British weather was predictably unpredictable and the sun was shining. And this was how they lined up, with Craig Denman on pole position from Andrew Bentley, James Littlejohn and Luigi Mazza. Very competitive row 2, row 3, Adam Gore and Seth Walpole. Donald Cannard well up in 11th position from Neil Livesey, always seems to go well here at Oulton Park. Christopher Mayhew also well up the order in 20th in qualifying. He's been getting faster and faster as the season has gone on. 24 of them in all. Simon Oakley completing the field, and a very, very competitive race around the high-speed turns. Oulton Park awaits as on the line. Away we go. It's a good start from Craig Denman, a terrible start from Jose Palazon. The bright yellow car left stranded, also slow away is Adam Gore as they almost go elbow to elbow throughout all. It's Luigi Mazza who's pushed out wide through the first corner as the rest of the pack all sprint down through Denton's the Avenue and into Cascades. It's the white car of Andrew Bentley who leads it from James Littlejohn. There is Luigi Mazza recovering from that big moment. He was very, very lucky not to pirouette the car off in pursuit then behind Martin Wills as Bentley leads the way from Littlejohn. Then it's Craig Denman and Seth Walpole. Outlon bend on the brakes into Shell Oil's corner for the first time. Littlejohn jinking to the inside of Bentley, the pair of them adversaries going back as far as 2004 in the BRDC single-seater championship. So they're well used to racing each other as Martin Wills and Luigi Mazza pick their way past Seth Walpole. And Mazza already doing a great job of recovering as they arrive into Britain's, leaping over the curb. Wills and Mazza. Luigi Mazza doing everything he can to amend that error, already up to 5th, and that could well be 4th by the time they hit the brakes into his lot. That said, Wills driving a wide car, he knows exactly what he needs to do as they stamp on the anchors and jink their way through his lot for the first time, and then accelerate into Knickerbrook. And Luigi Mazza all over the tail of Martin Wills, and with very good reason. He can see Bentley and Littlejohn disappearing into the distance, also Craig Denman as well, not too far clear, and Mazza trying to pass both of them, heading up over Clay Hill. Over to Elite, though, to complete the first lap of the race. And Mazza did make that move past Craig Denman, now finally getting past Martin Wills on the brakes into Oulton. Through he goes into the right-hander. Very tricky camber as it's Denman's turn to throw out the dust and slither out wide. He rejoins, having lost several car lengths as a result of those dramas. Fortunately for him, though, Seth Walpole and Neil Stoddart just a little bit too far back to offer any sort of challenge at the moment as they sprint along Lakeside, where Bentley is still trying to manage that gap. James Littlejohn. The big question, though, is how quickly, if at all, can Luigi Mazza get onto the tail of the leading duo. Once more, down through the gears on the brakes into Shell Oil's corner. Luigi Mazza already moving clear of Martin Wills. Wills maybe just slipping back into the clutches of Craig Denman. Despite that error from Denman earlier on, the rest of the pack all in hot pursuit as we catch a glimpse of Jason Baker, newcomer to the series and showing very strongly in these early stages. But that's often what we see in the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy, because so many of these drivers graduate on from the Lotus on Track days. They have got that inherent pace about driving at speed and performance driving on race circuit. What they really learn in this series then is the racecraft. Certainly these cars lend themselves to slipstream. You'll always find somebody to race with, as is the case as Clive Willis busy defending from Adam Knight. Knight has got the recovering Adam Gore looming on his tail as well, so they will accelerate out of Knickerbrook and up over Clay Hill once more. There's a tight pack. Still it goes on between Walpole and Stoddart, and then Baker looking to the inside. Oh, that's a brave move there from Jason Baker. He almost pulls it off. You don't want to be getting it wrong. We've already seen some of the more experienced drivers having lurid moments. Instead, Baker looks to challenge into Cascades. Again, he's got the car to the inside line, and he's made that move stick, and he's now looking to do the same in Outlon Bend, and through he goes decisively on this occasion. So Neil Stoddart is demoted. Adam Knight now taking his turn to challenge Stoddart, accelerating out of the hairpin on towards the chicane at Britain's. Driver's really lost out with all that. Seth Walpole, he has been shuffled somewhat comprehensively through that pack as well. There is Adam Gore, on the all metallic blue livery today. He's got the grey nose cone, and he has moved up past Will Price in the all white car just behind him as they sprint over Hilltop and then down into the braking zone of Hizzies, where Adam Knight looking to make the move on Neil Stoddart. Seth Walpole then clear of Clive Willis and the rest of them, with Gore looking to swoop around the outside, and through he goes. Another place gain then. That's Nigel Hannam. Gets passed by Gore and almost gets passed by Will Price, who sticks his nose to the inside of Hannam into Knickerbrook. Fortunately, Hannam doesn't turn across him there, avoid contact. Don't change the order. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Luigi Mazza has caught Andrew Bentley as the rain begins to come down, maybe because they've both got their windscreen wipers going. Depending on which camera angle you look at, it's either very dark or very light here. Treacherous conditions for the drivers. And the leading duo sprinting down the avenue into Cascades. There's James Littlejohn, a little bit lonely in third position at the moment into Outlon Bend, and Luigi Mazza looking to line up that move on Andrew Bentley. Mazza accelerating through, but he's on the grass and he's lost. He'll do very well to keep that out of the barrier as he slews the car to a halt. The gravel trap does its job. Mazza, well, he's lost plenty of track position, but can count himself lucky to stay in the race. There goes Littlejohn up into second. And so it is Andrew Bentley who comes through and takes the checkered flag. Delight for Bentley. Applause from the mechanics on the pit wall. In the end, after that error from Matza, a fairly emphatic victory for Bentley here at Oulton Park. Let's have a look then at the final results. With the win for Andrew Bentley from James Littlejohn, Martin Wills then completes the podium from a very impressive 4th for Jason Baker, and pole sitter Craig Denman slips down to 5th. Gisela Getfield completes the field. Clive Willis has also slipped down to 15th. And unfortunately, Luigi Matza didn't make it to the flag.
That was a great win. You know, we started P2, which was wet qualifying, so to get the car that I've never driven before, Hangar 111 have just finished it, and to get it on P2 was quite a result in the first place, and then to outdrag Craig Denman off the line and head all the way from start to finish was fantastic, and an awesome battle, brilliant fun, smiling all the way through.
Join us after the break for more action from the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy at Oulton Park.